What would you do if every single morning your neighbor smashed your trash can like it was her personal demolition derby? Most people would complain. Some might give up. But me? I built something she could never destroy, and when she tried, her $60,000 SUV paid the real price. My name's Daniel, and I've lived in Pinecrest Gardens, a perfect little HOA neighborhood, for about 3 years. You know the kind. Lawns trimmed exactly 2.5 inches, mailboxes painted in only 3 approved colors, and neighbors who smile to your face but report you to the board if your grass grows an inch too long. When I bought my corner lot house, I thought it would be a new start, a good place for my 2 kids after my divorce. Safe schools, quiet streets, and friendly neighbors, or so I believed. But every paradise has its serpent. Ours came in the form of a woman everyone called Karen, though her real name was Brenda. She was in her early 50s, drove a pearl-white SUV bigger than my garage, and acted like she had been crowned queen of the HOA. She carried a clipboard everywhere, pointing out violations that didn't even exist. And because she was friends with the HOA president, her word carried weight. First, I brushed her off. I thought, how much trouble can one neighbor really cause? Well, I was about to find out. And trust me, she wasn't just a nuisance. She became a wrecking ball aimed straight at my life. Started one Tuesday morning. I was getting my kids ready for school when I heard a loud crack. The sound of shattering plastic echoed outside. I ran to the driveway only to find my brand new trash can tipped over, garbage scattered everywhere, and Brenda's massive SUV pulling away like nothing had happened. I thought maybe it was an accident. The street was a little narrow. I picked up the trash, embarrassed as my kids peeked through the window. But the next day it happened again. And then again. Always around 6:15 a.m. Like clockwork. The sound of her bumper hitting my can became my morning alarm. By Friday I was suspicious. The street had plenty of space. Why was she always driving so close to my bin? The answer came from my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez. She whispered, "She does it on purpose. She even smirks while driving away." That was the first time I realized this wasn't an accident. It was targeted harassment. She was teaching me a lesson, reminding me of her authority. Every morning, I had to crawl around picking up soggy coffee filters and cereal boxes while my kids watched. And each time, Brenda rolled down her window with fake concern. "Oh dear, the streets here are so narrow. Maybe you should place it differently." That smirk on her face told me everything. This wasn't clumsiness. It was war. I tried to be civil. One afternoon, I caught her during her power walk. "Hey Brenda, about the trash cans," I started. But before I could finish, she smiled that fake smile and said, "Daniel, you're new to community living. Maybe you should consider better placement timing. These streets were designed for normal vehicles, not oversized containers blocking traffic. Placement timing? Trash pickup was at 7 a.m. Where exactly was I supposed to put it? On my roof? Things escalated quickly. A few days later, I got an official-looking violation notice taped to my door. Improper trash receptacle placement. It read, with a fine of $50 if not corrected in 72 hours. Meanwhile, I'd already replaced 3 trash cans in 2 weeks. $90 gone just like that. My kids started asking questions I couldn't answer. "Dad, why does the mean lady hate us?" I stayed calm on the outside, but inside I was boiling. I wasn't just dealing with a rude neighbor. I was dealing with a bully who had the HOA on her side. And when bullies smell weakness, they don't stop. They double down. By October, things had gone from bad to ridiculous. Brenda wasn't just knocking over my cans anymore. She was weaponizing every obscure HOA rule she could find. I got fined for my grass being 2.75 inches instead of 2.5. For my mailbox color fading from heritage blue to unauthorized navy. Even for tiny tears in my window screens. Funny thing was, I walked the neighborhood with a tape measure and camera. Half the houses had the exact same violations. But nobody else got fined. Just me. The stress was eating at us. My daughter Emma hated walking past Brenda's house, afraid of her glare. My son Tyler asked if we would have to move again. But instead of breaking me, her harassment gave me a new kind of focus. I stayed up late, digging through city ordinances and HOA bylaws. And that's when I discovered something interesting. The HOA had no rule about what material your trash can had to be made of. Plastic, metal, concrete, didn't matter. That's when the light bulb went off. If she wanted to keep smashing my cans, I'd give her one she'd never break. In fact, the next time she tried, it wouldn't be my problem. It would be hers. That weekend, I went to Home Depot and bought everything I needed. 60 pounds of concrete mix, steel rebar for reinforcement, and a standard plastic trash can shell to disguise the masterpiece. I worked in my garage late at night with classic rock playing on the radio. Emma and Tyler helped mix cement, laughing as they got dust all over their clothes. For the first time in weeks, we felt like a team, not victims. The design was simple but brilliant. A hollow bottom for weight distribution, drainage holes for function, and a solid core of reinforced concrete. On the outside, it looked exactly like every other trash can on the block. On the inside, it was a fortress. As I tightened the last bolt, I smiled. "Tomorrow morning," I whispered. "She's in for a surprise." Monday morning, 6:15 sharp. I stood at the kitchen window, coffee in hand, waiting. Brenda's SUV rumbled down the street, aimed straight at my trash can. She sped up, confident this would be like every other morning. Then thunk. The sound was completely different. Not the crunch of plastic, but the solid echo of steel meeting stone. Her bumper bent like foil. She froze for a moment, then reversed. I almost spit out my coffee. She was going to try again. She hit it harder this time. The trash can didn't move an inch. Her SUV groaned in protest, leaving a deep scratch across the side panel. I could see her face through the windshield. Confused, furious, humiliated. She revved the engine, slammed it once more, and this time her running board snapped clean off. Meanwhile, my concrete fortress stood proudly in place. Not a dent. Neighbors peeked out their windows. A couple of teenagers even started recording on their phones. By Friday, Brenda's SUV had nearly $2,000 worth of damage. My trash can? A few harmless scuffs. The neighborhood was buzzing. Brenda wasn't feared anymore. She was ridiculed. And I wasn't done yet. As Brenda obsessed over destroying my trash can, her other secrets unraveled. A friend on the board leaked that she'd been funneling HOA contracts to her own family business. Thousands of dollars gone. When the community found out, it wasn't just her SUV that was wrecked. Her reputation, her finances, her grip on the HOA all destroyed. For once, the bully lost, and the neighborhood finally won. Looking back, I realized this was never just about trash cans. It was about standing up to bullies who think they can steamroll everyone else. Brenda thought she was untouchable, protected by HOA rules and her fake authority. But in the end, she learned the hard way. Some neighbors don't back down. The funny part? My concrete trash can became a neighborhood legend. People still laugh about the day Karen lost to a garbage bin. My kids even joke that it's the most famous trash can in the city. So let me ask you this. What would you do if your neighbor kept destroying your property? Would you fight back the same way I did? Or would you handle it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love reading your stories. And if you enjoyed watching Karen's downfall, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild HOA tales, and share this video with a friend who loves revenge stories. Because sometimes justice isn't served in court. Sometimes it's served on trash day.